Not over, but it's 3-0, and KD on the brink of his first title. We got Mark Spears, who's covered Durant with the Warriors. We got PJ Carlesimo, who's coached KD way back in his rookie year in Seattle. PJ, what have these last 3 games, these last 8 days, meant for Kevin Durant and for people's perception of Kevin Durant?
Well, people's perception, DL, if they've been living in a hole, they didn't realize how great a player he was. But again, this validates, and Kevin made a great point in his clip right there. It's not over till they win the championship, but that's what great. He's done everything else. He's got Olympic gold medals, world championships, scoring titles. He's got all that. That's not what he's looking for. He's looking for a championship, and he's playing like a man possessed. You can't do any more to help your team than KD's doing right now. And again, he's doing it in transition. He's doing it off the dribble. He's doing it from the three-point line. He's doing it on both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. But, I mean, this is what he's been living for. He hates being at home. He was in the finals one other time. But the great players hate being at home watching the 2 best teams play. This is why he came to Golden State, and he's taking advantage of it.
And he's doing it on the very biggest stage in the NBA. Mark, Durant told you recently, 100% happy with the decision to go to Golden State, win or lose. Now, it's easier to say that when you're winning, but okay, win or lose, why is that?
I think he's enjoying himself. He's having fun. And when he first arrived to the Warriors at practice, he was stunned by the fact that they're playing rap music and R&B music. It was a just more relaxed atmosphere that he really enjoyed. He said he really loves the team atmosphere, and he enjoys being in the Bay. He's been in wine country. He's been in Silicon Valley. He's checking out all the restaurants. He said he's just having fun now. So it seemed to me that in Oklahoma City he was too uptight, not enjoying himself too much. And I think also having an injury made him realize that this could be taken away at any time. So he better have some other interests as well. So them winning right now certainly could put the cherry on top of this whole thing. He has to get this win first, but like you said, win or lose, he's loving it in the Bay.
It has been a long road for Kevin Durant. PJ, as I mentioned, you had him as a rookie when he played for you in Seattle. How has he evolved as a player over this past decade?
He's complete game, DL. I tell you, first of all, he's physically stronger. He doesn't put on a lot of weight. He doesn't have a frame like that, but he's a much stronger player than he was then. But he's improved in every facet, even the shooting. Yeah, he was a good shooter then, but, I mean, he's a great shooter right now. I mean, he was Rookie of the Year. He made some shots. He won a couple games for us down the stretch. The one good thing we did that hopefully helped Kevin's career is we put him in a lot of situations. We posted him up. We let him run pick and rolls. We let him play in the backcourt. We let him play in the front court. But, I mean, he's a gym rat. He always works on his game. Believe me, he's going to come back next year a better player than he is right now. But you see it with the rebounding. He's an excellent rebounder now. When he gets a rebound, he leads the fast break. You know, there's things he's doing now that he didn't do earlier in his career. And the people in Oklahoma City deserve a lot of credit. Scotty Brooks, their coaches, Brian Keefe, Mark Bryant, the development people, they worked with Kevin because he's the kind of guy you got to make him leave the gym. He works on his game. He's a complete player right now. And as you said before, he's doing it on the biggest stage.
Hey, PJ, when you had him, he was pretty much just a kid. He's a man in full now. What have you seen? How has he evolved just as a human being since those days in Seattle?
I can't say he's a much better human being, DL, because he's perfect. I remember calling his college coach, Rick Barnes, on the phone and asking him. Rick was a buddy from our Big East days together, and I said, how good is he? He said, player, you're not going to believe how good a player he is. We thought he would be this good. But he said, guess what? He's like Tim Duncan. He's a better person than he is a player. I can't say he's evolved. He plays with a little more of an edge now. You see that sometimes. He's a little more demonstrative, but he's the same person. His mother, Wanda, did a fantastic job. He's a great, great person. He's a great teammate. He deserves everything he's getting.
PJ, I'm glad you brought up Wanda. Mark, Wanda had a tear in her eye after the Warriors won Wednesday night. Yeah. I mean, there's no champagne, there's no confetti, so why the emotions after a Game 3?
Well, I think she senses what's coming. After her son hit that big three-pointer late in the fourth quarter, she screamed, yeah, baby. And, you know, she goes back to 5 years ago when her son lost in the finals. She goes back to when he won the real MVP and him getting hurt after that. And, you know, let's go back to February when they thought he was done for the season, and she was really worried in D.C. about whether he would even play. Then keep in mind all the hate, all the people talking bad about her son this past year. As a mom, it's got to tear her apart. So, if there's two people I know is going to be really emotional if the Warriors win tonight, it's Kevin Durant and Miss Wanda. She's already emotional already. She was emotional talking about her son at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you better get some tissues for her if he wins tonight.
Mark Spears and PJ Carlesimo from Cleveland, as Kevin Durant is on the brink of winning a title with the Warriors after leaving the Thunder last summer.
It's Golden State for Kevin Durant.
It's just a devastating loss for the Oklahoma City Thunder today.
Either you're a villain or you're a superhero.
The expectation is a championship.
I got a short amount of time left to play basketball. I just want to enjoy every single day of it.
Here comes Durant to the rack, a two-hand slam, and Oracle is a madhouse.
Durant way downtown. Bang! Half court. Russell Westbrook's looking at Kevin Durant saying, I'm coming. I'm coming. And Kevin Durant says, so what?
The underreported piece of Kevin Durant's magical run through the finals is how it's playing in Oklahoma City, his former home. We've got Thunder reporter Royce Young joining us now. Give us the collective vibe in that town, Royce, as the Kevin Durant and his new team are on the brink of a title.
Yeah, there's certainly some bitterness there, David, as you could expect. You know, there's plenty of people in Oklahoma City right now that would identify themselves as staunch Cleveland Cavaliers fans, rooting for LeBron James and rooting for the miraculous to happen. There was plenty of people that I think were as crushed when Durant made that three to cinch Game 3 as they were even when the Thunder lost Game 6, just because of kind of the bitterness that has kind of persisted in the city. And there's actually even another side to it. There's plenty of people also, David, that are actually kind of rooting for a Warriors sweep. They want it to look easy because they want to delegitimize Durant's championship, because that's something that people in Oklahoma City always felt like, that this was the easy way out, this was the easy path. They want to be able to say that there's an asterisk next to it, because that was actually part of the Thunder's pitch to Durant when they were selling him in free agency, is they told him not all titles are created equal. One championship with us is worth a lot more than 5 championships with the Golden State Warriors because of what you would accomplish. So there are some people that kind of see it that way, that just let it be easy. Let the Warriors blow them out in Game 4 and kind of put an asterisk, delegitimize that title a little bit.
Royce, you obviously covered him for years. You got to know him to some extent. What do you think this moment means for Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I've known Kevin almost a decade now, and a lot of conversations that I've had with him, one thing that he's kind of talked about, and there are two sides to this, is that, you know, Mark Spears just referenced it, basketball isn't everything to Durant. That's something that he really tries to hammer home. Winning and losing doesn't define him, and he takes a lot of pride in that. You know, he's a guy that's a big picture person, but he's as competitive as anybody else. So that's the other side of it, is that this is the final checkbox. This is something Durant has yet to accomplish, and he's somebody that's always been very goal-oriented. You know, he wanted to win a scoring title. He wanted to accomplish a 50-40-90 season. He desperately wanted to win an MVP. And the only thing that he has not done is win an NBA championship. And when Durant kind of made this decision and was thinking about going to the Warriors and looking at the possibility that he may not be able to get it done in Oklahoma City, you know, one thing that stood out to him and one thing that people have told me around him, you know, a couple years ago when the San Antonio Spurs won their championship and Kwahi Leonard was named Finals MVP, Kevin Durant sent out a tweet that said, kind of questioned whether or not Leonard was just a system player. And everybody jumped on Durant saying, you can't talk that way about a champion because you don't have one. And that really offended Durant personally. And one thing that he wants to make sure of is that there's no well actually on his career. He doesn't want to be a Barkley or a Ewing. He doesn't want to be a Dan Marino where somebody says, yeah, he was great, but. So this moment for Durant, it means a whole lot to him.
What has this been like for Russell Westbrook, who's watching his former running buddy closing in on an NBA championship, one that Russell Westbrook does not have?
Apparently, he's taking this time to catch up on his movie watching. You know, the other night during Game 1, he Snapchatted that he was sitting there watching Sister Act 2. But, you know, Russell Westbrook, he's a new father, so that's kind of keeping him occupied right now. But Westbrook has notoriously said that he does not watch other teams play basketball on TV. He watches film, of course. He does plenty of game study, but he does not watch other teams play. So I do take Westbrook at his word that he's not tuning in and he's not necessarily just devouring the NBA Finals like a lot of us are. But you can be sure that Russell Westbrook is very aware of what's happening in the NBA Finals, because how could you possibly avoid it?
Hey, what's the relationship like between Westbrook and Durant right now?
Well, it's the same as it has been basically for the last year, David. You know, there is no relationship. I know that there was some talk that the two had spoken to each other, but I'm told that is not entirely true. That was somewhat overstated there. You know, even Durant was asked about it in a recent interview, and he just kind of brushed it off because it's one of those things, until you hear Russell Westbrook say, yes, I've talked to Kevin Durant, yes, we've talked to each other and we've spoken or we've texted, I don't think I would really believe much of that because Westbrook and Durant, it's still very icy, it's still very tense. I wouldn't expect if Durant gets it done tonight and wins a championship that Russell Westbrook's going to be sending a congratulatory text.
You know, Westbrook in an interesting spot here, Royce, because he's watching this super team there in Oakland, and he has basically got a situation where he can extend this summer with the option and remain pretty much the lone guy in OKC as far as superstar level. How do you think he's watching this, and if he is watching it, and feeling about his situation?
Of course, yeah. You know, this has got to be something that's crossing his mind right now as he contemplates his long-term future in Oklahoma City. You know, even look at the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. It suddenly feels like they don't have enough. Look at Russell Westbrook and the way that they went out in the first round of the playoffs. You know, he sat in that series. Anytime he sat against the Houston Rockets in their 5-game loss, the Thunder were a complete train wreck. So you have to assume that Russell Westbrook is kind of thinking about that. But one thing, David, I was told pretty emphatically last summer as Westbrook weighed his extension at that time, is someone that knows Russell Westbrook well and is very close to him said he's not a team-up kind of guy. And Westbrook is somebody that kind of digs his heels in, and he's always lived his life, especially his professional basketball career, his basketball career in general, with a massive chip on his shoulder. He lives to prove people wrong. And Russell Westbrook would rather go down swinging and losing than do it by somebody else's way, by doing it the conventional way and joining up with other superstars. So people that know Westbrook well kind of look at this as saying, yeah, that might be the way in the NBA that you have to join up with other superstars, but Russell Westbrook, he's different. He's cut from another cloth. He's going to do it his own way.
All right, Royce Young giving us the perspective from Oklahoma City as the Thunder's one-time franchise player Kevin Durant about to realize a career dream. Game 4 tonight, 9 Eastern on ABC.